Hey, Abeloff management team. I want to send you a quick video going over what the hit list is and some of the best practices behind utilizing it for a management tool. So first off, to explain a little bit about what the hit list is, you can see it right here in your pipeline. The hit list is essentially a compilation of customers that Centric is actively tracking. We track those customers in two ways. One, they've either received a Centric video and physically clicked on it, in which a cookie is attached to their browser, or they've clicked on a hyperlink that was sent via Centric, whether that's via email blast or just an email itself. So that's a little bit of breakdown about what the hit list is. If I click into the hit list, I'm going to go over some of the best practices of how this can be effectively used as a management tool. So the first thing I'm going to do is sort by last seen. And you'll see that there are default columns to the hit list, right? Customer, the deal stage, the vehicle that customer is on in Centric, when they were last seen on the dealership website, how many pages that customer has viewed on your dealership website, who referred the customer to the dealership website, the actual time that they've spent on the website, how many times they've been there. You'll see location says null, but that's something that we're actively working on updating. You'll see who the salesperson is on that customer specifically. So as a best practice, there's actually a couple columns that I would personally add, and I would actually change this around just to make it a little bit easier on the eyes for management purposes. If I come up here, click on my book where I can edit these columns. And again, this is completely personalized to each individual user. So if you don't agree with the way that I have it set up and it's easier for you to read another way, I would say absolutely go ahead and do that. So right here, you'll see that you have the year, make, and model. That's actually something that I would move down a little bit in my list of things that I would want to actively track. So I'm going to go ahead and actually move this a little bit more towards the bottom and put the customer sales profile ahead of it. There's a couple things I'm going to focus on as far as what the hit list is tracking. It's going to be current stage, and I'm actually going to add date delivered here as well, because some of the current stages you'll see have a deal stage of delivered, but that's only because the last action that was registered in the CRM was a delivery. It doesn't necessarily dictate that delivery happened recently. So I like to do current stage, date delivered. Again, I'm going to move this back here towards the bottom. And then from here, there's a couple things that I like to dictate as quote unquote high intensity. So I'm always going to keep last scout hit date, which is last seen. But I care a little bit more about how long that customer spent on our site and then how many page views they had. And again, I'm going to actually move session above website refer, because I think it's great that we're pointing out who referred the customer to the dealer website. But I think as far as I would say the hotness of the customer or the intensity of the customer and how they're shopping really depends more on when they were there, how long they spent there, and how many page views. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. So now there's a couple things I can determine from looking at this, right? If I come down here and I look at, let's use Barbara Carson for a great example. Now her last deal stage was delivered, but the last delivery was almost a year ago, December 29, 2017. She was on the dealership website 9 minutes ago, shopping for about 5 minutes, and viewed 11 different pages over the course of 2 separate sessions while we've been tracking her. This is absolutely a customer that from a management perspective, I would want to reach out to and just find a good reason to call, find a quote unquote good reason to call her as a salesperson or someone in the BDC. Call Barbara, say, hey, I'm just checking in. Wanted to see how you were doing with your car. That would probably stem some sort of conversation about her recently saying it. It's weird that you called me because I was recently actually shopping on your dealership website. So there's a lot of powerful information here to effectively track customers that we may be considering dead or out of market, or that were delivered years ago that are now back looking at our customer website, which really brings me to point number 2 of how we can mine this data. You can see like Eric Dengler, for example. Right now, the last stage that this customer is in was a dead deal, but they were seen on our website a minute ago, and they've been shopping for over 15 minutes, viewing 50 different pages. Is Eric someone that I would want to possibly reach out to and start a conversation with? Absolutely. And it looks like we can even track this back to one of the email blasts that we sent this afternoon, because he opened and clicked on it. So you can even see that you're drumming up website traffic from the email blast that you're sending via Drive Centric. To dive a little bit deeper into what we can add as far as the columns go, that's kind of a basic overview of how I would go about managing this tool and really using it as a way to drum up some traffic. You can still use those counters like you see on your pipeline to effectively track what has been done since the customer has gone into their current stage. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put phone status, text status, video status, and email status onto my columns. I'm going to go ahead and save that. So now I can effectively use the "what have you done for me lately" type of count that is provided on your customer insight screen to see what has been done with these customers since they entered the current stage they're in. So I'm going to use this customer, for example. We've emailed once without success, but we've had some success on the phone via text and via email. And again, this is Barbara Carson. So that was that customer that we already delivered back in 2017. So I'm probably finding a good reason to reach out to Barbara via phone, because it seems like email is probably not the best case scenario to get a hold of her. But for someone like this customer who we've had success with on the phone 3 times, I can see this customer is actually a current proposal who was on our website 14 minutes ago. So if I click into James Randall, I can effectively see what we've done since the proposal to follow up with that customer. And it looks like this customer actually didn't receive a proposal this month. It looks like it was outside the scope of this month. So he was actively shopping on the website, and we sent him a proposal, more than a month ago. So is that someone that we want to actively follow up with? I would safely assume so. Again, this is just a brief overview of the hit list. I would love to go a little bit more in depth with, the type of management that you can use to effectively mine this list. I would go as far to say that every single person on your hit list deserves a phone call, because they are to some extent actively shopping on your website. If you guys have any questions about the hit list as a whole, I'd love to hop on a personalized, webinar style type of call or session to go over a little bit more, any more specific questions that you have. But I at least want to get a video out. Again, not production quality video. I'm kind of jumping around a lot here and stumbling over my words a little bit. But I want to get you guys at least a brief overview of what the hit list entails and how to effectively use it as a management tool. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out.